What's up, everyone? Today I am on a farm chilling with some horses, and we're talking about the fundamental flaw in the way that we think about, excuse you, the way we think about what we want. Look at that guy. What we want. And if we don't realize this flaw, we'll end up with a dissatisfied and empty life, even if we achieve everything that we set out to achieve. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So if someone asks you, what do you want? A common answer might be, oh, I want a successful business, or oh, I want $10 million in the bank, or I want this many followers, or I want a family. All these things that we just say that we want to have. This is not that great of a way to look at it, because the problem is having these things and achieving these things is a one-time occurrence. That's not actually your life when you have these things. Your life when you have $10 million or you have a successful business or you have 10 million followers is going to be the day-to-day activities of being that role. Say you're an author. You say, I want to have a book. I want to have a best-selling book. Your life is not being an author and having a best-selling book. Your life is sitting down every single day and writing all day. That's your life. So if you are looking at this future goal of I want to be an author, I want to have a best-selling book, you're not actually preparing yourself for what being an author is like. What you should be saying is, I want to write every single day. That's what you're really saying when you say, I want to be an author. Or when you say, I want to have a successful business and be a CEO. What you're saying is, I want to solve fires all the time and just have the worst shit thrown at me, and that's my life. And waking up stressed and going to sleep stressed. Granted, there's some middle ground, but that's pretty much what you're signing up for. If you say, I want to have $10 million, you're saying that I want to be responsible for investing all this money and worrying about losing it and worried about growing it and all the things that come along with having the $10 million. The $10 million is just a one-time thing. You achieve it and you're like, oh, that's great, cool, I'm proud of myself. And then you're like, well, shit, now I gotta deal with it. For a little story of personal experience, I had this goal of building up this social media advertising agency for a while, right? And my very first client that I've been working with already for a while, doing website development stuff and all this, we were good friends, and I finally sold him on ads. The day that I walked in there and I got him to sign the contract and get everything going, and I was like, bam, I'm making good money every single month now. It's a retainer, they're locked in. I did everything. I achieved my goal. I went to the beach afterwards and I just got in the ocean, and I remember like swimming in the ocean, just looking at the beach and going, wow, this feels like nothing. This feels meaningless almost. Like, not meaningless, but it's not this ecstatic moment where you're like, I'm just so overexcited and I'm gonna be happy for the rest of my life now because I did this one thing and I achieved my goal. It's not what you're signing up for. What I signed up for by doing that is now my life is, okay, I have this client that I need to do these advertising services for, and I need to be learning all this stuff and working on it and writing ads and monitoring the ads and learning them and having meetings and all this stuff. That's my life now. My life is not signing the client and officially having a client. It's doing the service itself. So I feel like that's the mindset that we need to have more. When you're thinking about what do I want in life, what are my goals, it's more about habits and your day-to-day activities than it is the goal itself. Because the goal is not necessarily representative of what you're actually gonna have to do to get there. Ryan Holiday talks about this a lot, and I just read a lot of his articles. He's the Daily Stoic guy, if you guys don't know him. Writes a lot about stoicism, really good stuff. And he talks about this fact that, you know, writing best-selling books and making millions of dollars and all these things that you have as goals, they really don't feel like anything. The point is to enjoy the work itself. So if you're signing up for a career or something that you want to achieve or have on your little name tag, right? Like CEO or founder on your little LinkedIn, whatever people do these days. If you want that prestige will disappear very, very quickly, and you'll be left with the shit of actually doing that job, the responsibilities of actually doing that job. So this is something I wish people talked more about when I was thinking about what kind of career path I want to go down. Because I had to realize this myself. I realized when I was going to apply for engineering school, I was obsessed with the idea of being an engineer. I was obsessed with the title, aerospace engineer. But I didn't think that much about the actual day-to-day activities of being an engineer and what that meant. And I don't think that I'm alone on this one. I think that my situation and experience is probably pretty normal. We don't talk enough about the actual day-to-day activities At least not in my life. I haven't had that. Now I'm going to speculate a little on why we tend to jump to this having perspective. You ask people what they want and we say, I want to have this thing. I'm going to speculate and say that it's because we like an easy answer. We like to look at our futures and think there's just one thing that I need to achieve and have in my life, and all my problems will be solved and I will be happy for the rest of eternity. Obviously that's pretty dumb, but I think that's the way we like to look at it. Because the alternative, saying that there is no destination that will make me happy, means that there's really not as big of an excuse for us to be dissatisfied with our current life. Like, if I am already writing, then I can't really be dissatisfied with my life if I wanted to be an author. Because even though I don't have a best-selling book yet, I'm doing the same exact thing as I would be when I was a successful author in the future. I'm doing the same thing. I'm writing every day. That's my life. I don't have maybe the podcasts and the interviews and the fame of being a best-selling author, but that stuff doesn't really matter that much anyways. It's actually the writing itself that brings any sort of contentment or fulfillment to an actual writer. So that's my speculation. I think that we need to be less obsessed with the destination and realize that the destination is not what matters. The journey counts, right? The old cliche that my dad used to say every single time we'd get in the car and I'd complain about how long the drive was. That sums it up today, everyone. Kind of just like a rant. I talked really fast in this. I guess I'm just angry or something. I don't know. If you enjoyed this, check out my channel for other rants and opinions that you probably don't care about, but maybe you do. And I will link to a video right here that I decided you might like after watching this one. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the horses earlier. They're pretty chill. I feed them papayas. They love it. They're starting to like me. As long as I feed them food, I think they'll like me. And that's all. Thank you for watching. Take care and mahalo.